Okay, so this is my first YouTube attempt with sharing recipes and cooking and my adventure and my love of cooking. So today, because I have to get right back to work, I am sauteing some onions and some garlic, and I'm going to throw in a green pepper, diced tomatoes, and I have no idea what to do with this can of creamy alfredo sauce, so I'm sprucing it up. And I'm also going to be browning some ground turkey, about a pound, in with the vegetable matter. And then I will add the sauce and cook for, I want to say, 30 minutes would be good. And then pour it over bow ties, and I will be back to show you what it looks like. Okay, so I'm back. This is what it looks like. You have the ground turkey, about a pound, all browning up. You have a can of diced tomatoes, fresh is always better, 1 green bell pepper, 1 large Vidalia onion, and about half a bulb of garlic. Then I like to throw some oregano and some basil in there, basilico. And I like to put in, maybe, I like to say a pinch, which is probably about 20 crushed red pepper flakes. And the reason for a small amount is because my grandson will be eating this, so I don't want it to be too spicy. And I like cumin. Cumin gives it this wonderful Mediterranean taste. So I like to add maybe about 1/8 of a teaspoon, just a little, I say a pinch, just a little bit of cumin, just to give it that flavor. And then salt and black pepper to taste. You let this cook down, and while this is cooking, I have the water already boiling for, as my grandson calls it, bow tie pasta. I like this pasta because the sauce will grab into these little crevices. Of course, there is a debate between my husband and I. He likes his pasta mushy. I like my pasta al dente. I like a little firmness to it. I'm not saying crunch, but just not mush. So I usually take mine out before his. Alrighty, I will be back with the finished product. Oh, and before I forget, I also like to add a little red wine. I want to say maybe 1/4 cup, just to give it a nice red wine, that flavor. I love it. Okay, so I added the jar of alfredo sauce that I had in the cupboard, just because it's there, I'm using it up, and this is the recipe I'm creating with it. And then we're going to turn it down, the heat. Just so that it simmers while I'm waiting for the pasta to cook. Now, to make this dish healthier, I am adding some milled flaxseed. Flaxseed is really good. It's an excellent source of fiber. It's fantastic for anyone who's a diabetic. And it's a way of getting fiber into a child's diet without them even knowing. It has a slight nutty flavor, but you can barely taste it. I have used it in mashed potatoes, in soup. I will put some in this recipe here. And I highly recommend trying it, especially if you have elderly family or anybody who does have diabetes. This is a must-have, and it must be ground. It can't be just the flax seed. It has to be already ground for it to work. It's just fantastic. And here we have our finished product. Now, while I was waiting for all of this to cook and get together, I had some leftover celery and a cucumber. So I chopped up some celery, and I love to use the leaves. I highly recommend using the leaves as well. It's a fantastic flavoring. And then I added some Parmesan cheese, some basil, some oregano, and I have this wonderful raspberry vinegar. So I sprinkled some of that over the top, and voila, a nice little salad on the side.